the illusion of fast pentatonic runs. So I've shared already like a few videos about fast pentatonic lines and breaking it down into scale fragments and naming the different scale fragments and combining them to make long, fast, picked pentatonic runs similar to Eric Johnson, or at least inspired by Eric Johnson and Joe Bonamassa-ish style. So yeah, I've been receiving, or I have received a few feedback about the pentatonic runs that some people have tried it. They watched my video, and but they can't seem to get the speed going. So in this video, I'll try to see if I can help you guys out, and eventually, hopefully, you can get it and incorporate the technique into your own playing. So the first thing that I'd like to say is that it's kind of like not so good news. The Zakk Wylde 2-note per string alternate picking pentatonic shape or scale fragment, this one, this is like the basic and fundamentals, or the fundamental move that you can do, or that you need to master at least. So for this, there's no way around that. You have to like get used to that movement. So I think I've tried to, when I was starting out, I tried to use a metronome and I increased the speed gradually, but you can always use a backing track. Like maybe if you're at 90 BPM, you can choose a backing track that's 90 BPM, and you can like, while you're improvising, you can try to play the scale fragment so that you can master the movement in context, in a musical context. And you can gradually increase the speed, like maybe a week after you can choose a backing track that is 110 BPM, and eventually you can play it at 120, so on and so forth. So there's no way around this. Down, up for every string. So 2 notes per string, down, up, then on the next string, down, up again. Although you can do economy picking, which is down, up, down. So down, up, down, up, down, down. I'm not sure if you can see that in my picking hand, but I'm doing a down, up, down, down, up. Although you can do that, I wouldn't recommend it for this style of playing, because it's kind of hard to have an even, to play an even subdivision and pulse with economy picking compared to alternate picking, which you can easily, no matter what the shape is, the alternate picking is more even, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So economy picking, unless you want that technique, but I wouldn't recommend it, because though you can master it, but the way the economy picking is, you have to arrange the notes in a way that it can be easy for you to economy pick, or like the logistics, it's kind of challenging. Whereas alternate picking, it doesn't matter what the shape is, you just alternate pick it regardless. So no matter what the shape is, down, up, down, up. So that's the first thing that I'd like to mention. The Zakk Wylde pentatonic scale fragment, the 2 note per string alternate picking, down, up, down, up. you have to master that as a form of a basic level of this skill. So eventually you can do the other scale fragments similar to Zakk Wylde, the 3-string Zakk Wylde, which is, or the extended one, or something like that. Once you master that, you need to learn the other scale fragments, and that's the key here, is to learn other scale fragments. Because if you think about this kind of style of playing, the fast picked pentatonic cascading lines, when we hear that kind of run, our brain, I'm not sure with you guys, but for me, it would, I will associate it with, we know what the pentatonic scale would sound like. And if we hear that, it sounds pentatonic. So when we think about pentatonic scale or the pentatonic sound, we, or at least I, or I'm sure you guys as well, we think about 2 notes per string, because as guitarists, we know what the pentatonic scale looks like, and it's commonly played as 2 notes per string. And when you hear something like something that's fast played, the pentatonic scale being played at that fast, similar to Eric Johnson and Joe Bonamassa, you'd wonder how would one do something like that. If you're gonna like, the alternate picking technique is the fastest way that you can do it, because if you're gonna pick all downstroke, there's no way you can do it. So down up, down up, down up is the way to go. So so here are, like, I'm gonna mention 2 tips, because I mentioned it's an illusion of the pentatonic, fast pentatonic runs. Here's the illusion. 2 tips that I'm gonna share to you. The first one is the Eric Johnson scale fragment, which incorporates the economy picking technique. And that's the most important thing to take note of, to incorporate economy picking with alternate picking. So you combine both techniques. So the scale fragment, if you guys haven't seen the past videos, it looks like this. So this shape, this portion right here, wherein you do 2 downstrokes in adjacent strings. So that's where the economy picking happens. So that move, although that's very small, it's a game changer. So, because when you think about it, if you take a closer look at my picking hand, if you do 2 downstrokes in a row, in terms of movement, there's really not much of an effort that I'm putting in terms of picking. So, because I'm just letting the pick drop to the next string. So that movement. So it seems like a downstroke, but because I'm just letting the pick drop, with just one motion of a downstroke, I'm playing 2 notes, 2 strings. So one note per string, so 2 notes. So like that. So in terms of movement, it's kind of effortless. And when you follow that up with an upstroke with on the same string afterwards, that's 3 notes that's kind of effortless. So you can do that with ascending as well. So the same motion of the picking hand. So by just economy picking 1 note, you are able to allow yourself to easily pick 3 notes with ease. Yeah, easily pick 3 notes with ease. So by doing this motion, the Eric Johnson scale fragment, that's 3 notes that's easy compared to alternate picking. So if you were to alternate pick that very same 3 notes, like that, down, up, down, like I'm gonna exaggerate my picking hand. Like if you think about the movement that you have to do, downstroke, then you have to go under the string to do an upstroke because you're alternate picking. That's a lot of movement that's required. And although it doesn't seem like a lot because it's just like very small movements, and it has to be very small movements when you're playing fast because those it only takes very little to, like, when you're playing fast, you have to be efficient. But if you eliminate that upstroke, or having to do an upstroke after that downstroke by doing economy picking, it saves you a lot of time to do an upstroke. So, and although that's just one, I'm going to demonstrate doing an Eric Johnson descending. So Eric Johnson scale fragment. So so if you do that in cascading, like you're doing one Eric Johnson scale fragment after another, as you're descending, as you're moving down the strings, that's a lot of economy pick notes that you just saved. And the reason why this is important, although that's just one note for every scale fragment, it gives you time for your wrist muscles and forearm muscles to, like, have a break, an intermittent break. So it's not like excessive. Like if you just do Zakk Wylde scale fragments, that's a lot of down, up, down, ups, down, ups without any breaks. So if you can do that, then that's good. But by playing the Eric Johnson scale fragment in conjunction with the Zakk Wylde, you get to have a break, and like the minimal effort that's required to play 3 notes in succession is like, it's very easy. So it doesn't really because if you can play the Zakk Wylde, then you're actually good to go. You can play this kind of style, but just by incorporating the Eric Johnson, you're just gonna make your life easier by playing economy pick notes. So that's the first tip. The second tip is in another scale fragment, which is the Joe Bonamassa and or the John Petrucci. So Joe Bonamassa and John Petrucci. So just to review, Joe Bonamassa scale fragment is like this. And the John Petrucci is like this. So what those 2 scale fragments have in common is that they have more than 2 notes in one string, which is kind of a lot in terms of if you're thinking about the pentatonic scale, because if you think about the pentatonic scale, you think about 2 notes per string. So if you play 3 or more notes in one string, it's also going to help you, similar to how the Eric Johnson scale fragment with the economy picking is going to help you do this kind of style of playing. Because if you play multiple notes in one string, if we remember how we learned how to alternate picking when we started out as beginners, like we would play or we usually start out with playing just one string, and that's one of the few things that we master initially. So if you know how to alternate pick, then alternate picking one string is going to be very easy for you. So, and same with Eric Johnson, it allows you to have a break, and it allows you to play like 3 or 4 notes all together easily. So if we break down the John Petrucci, for example, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 notes in one string that you're gonna alternate pick. Then after that is just 2 notes on top of that. So what you need to worry about is just the transition now, because this one is easy. So if you know how to do that, just add the 2 notes in a different string, then you have the John Petrucci. So. And you incorporate that with the Zakk Wylde, then you're gonna make your life easier. So. Something like that. So let's take a look at the Joe Bonamassa. So the Joe Bonamassa is like this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 notes again in one string. So that's by arranging the notes that way. And although this is not a pentatonic shape, this note, if you're really like a purist and you want to play pentatonic exclusively, then you can just extend the shape, and then you have a pentatonic scale. So if you think about that, alternate picking this note, these notes, it's just in one string, so you can easily do that. So that's the illusion that I'm talking about, because like I said, if we think about the pentatonic scale and picking every note of the pentatonic scale, it can be intimidating if we think about it. But if we arrange the notes, if we learn different scale fragments and different orientation of the notes, like how they are placed in different strings, and arrange them in a way that we can economy pick them and also play multiple notes in one string, then we allow ourselves to play 3 or 4 notes together with minimal effort, not like 2 notes per string that is like the Zakk Wylde style. Although there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just gonna make your life easier, and you're able to play those fast pentatonic lines if you arrange the scale fragments similar to Eric Johnson, John Petrucci, and Joe Bonamassa style, in order for you to have a break with your forearm muscles and your wrist muscles, and you will be able to play that with minimal effort. So try to incorporate that. Incorporate the Joe Bonamassa, the John Petrucci, and the Eric Johnson scale fragments into your playing, so that you can play those fast pentatonic lines. And of course, if you haven't mastered it yet, slow it down, get the technique right, play a backing track that's a tempo that is suitable for your skill level, and gradually increase, and eventually you'll be able to get it. So something like this. So I hope those tips help, and yeah, have fun. Right.